Hey everybody, Crow back again, and I decided to make a very basic Zaccaria Pinball video today. Zaccaria Pinball has been put on multiple platforms to date. It's on Android, it's on Xbox One, it's on the Nintendo Switch, and most recently it was put on the PlayStation 4. But as such, there are many people that may not know exactly what tables they would like to focus on. Now you could go and play all the trials of all the tables you haven't played, but where do you even begin? It was suggested that I do like a ranking video for all the tables in every category, but I don't really know if that's necessary. I do have videos up for every single table, but I understand that many people don't want to watch like 100 different 10-minute videos. So what I want to do in this video is talk about the different categories of tables in Zaccaria Pinball, kind of describe briefly what type of table is in those categories, and maybe it'll help you decide what type of tables you'd like to focus on. Maybe you want to play something that's pretty complicated, or maybe you want to play something that's very simple. Now, I want to start with what I consider to be the bread and butter of Zaccaria Pinball, and that is the solid state tables. It may be listed as SS tables. Now, the solid state tables are actually based on real tables. I think there are some people that don't realize that these tables are in fact based on real tables, just like Pinball Arcade and Pinball FX3 with their Williams tables. Zaccaria pinball machines actually existed, and in the solid state section, all of them existed. In fact, that's how I found out about this. In fact, back here I have a Zaccaria Time Machine, and that is one of the tables you can indeed play in the solid state portion. And these tables were actually released between 1978 and 1989. Now, the reason they're called solid state machines is because they have solid state technology in them. You've got digital sound, a digital readout of some kind, and basically ever since the late 70s, early 80s, almost every pinball machine made to date can be considered a solid state machine. They can allow for more complicated rule sets, but let's be honest, in Zaccaria Pinball, the tables that were released from 1978 to the end of the company's life in 1989 won't be too complicated to just sit down and play and have fun. Next category is EM tables. Now, EM stands for Electro Mechanical, and these are the tables that were created before solid state tables. It's just all electronics and wiring, no solid state technology at all. The audio is just, regular bells and chimes, just physical audio. The scores are usually on reels that'll just roll over. And like the solid state tables, these were all actually real tables that existed in real life. And because they don't have any solid state circuitry in them, these tables play very simply. So if you just want something to sit down, play, aim for targets, and not have to worry about any complicated rule sets, the EM tables are certainly the way they go. Now, despite how simple they are, sometimes EM tables can be more difficult than the solid state tables, just because sometimes they drain a little bit easier. Just because of the way the layouts were designed. I would recommend going with 5 balls if you were going to be playing EM, whereas with solid state, I would go with 3 balls. I think that with EM tables, you'd have a little bit more fun with the 5 ball. Next category are the remake tables. Now, after Magic Pixel had created all of the EM and solid state tables, they really can't make any more tables in those categories because they've run out of the tables to recreate. So they started to, from 2016 through 2019, reimagining what these tables would look like if they were done in a more modern sensibility. What if they had DMDs? What if they had more complicated rule sets? What if they had ramps and other modern day features? So that's what you're going to be getting with the remake tables. Something that didn't exist in real life. These are just wholly fictional reimaginings. What if scenario Zaccaria was around in the 2000s? and was still making pinball machines, and they decided to remake their own pinball machines. Magic Pixel has taken upon themselves to make that a reality in this game. A lot of these tables are a lot more forgiving than the solid state or EM counterparts. So, you know, this may be the option for some people that just want to sit and have fun and play something a little bit more modern. Now, the next category are the deluxe tables. Magic Pixel started creating these in 2019 after they'd filled up all their slots for the remake tables. Now, the deluxe tables are actually a step above what the remake tables were. So if the remake tables were tables that were like from the 90s and the early 2000s, then the deluxe tables are like, what if these tables were remade with modern technology? So these deluxe tables have LCD screens instead of DMDs, and they've got more complicated rule sets. They've got interactive toys in some way, every single one of them. The remake tables did not have interactive toys. They did have, you know, toys on the table, but they didn't interact in any way. But the deluxe tables do have interactive toys. Right now on Steam, there's only 5 of them, and on consoles and whatnot there are even less, but they will work on getting all of those out on all those platforms. I know they will. It just takes longer on consoles. That's just the way they work. I feel like a lot of these are hit and miss. Sometimes they're just way overloaded with stuff, but if, you know, that's your thing, they can be fun to play. But yeah, I think some of these are hit and miss. Maybe I'll rank these tables one day. Next category are the retro tables. This is what if in the opposite direction of the remake and deluxe tables. These were tables that Magic Pixel created in 2017 and 2018, and it is what if these solid state tables, these real solid state tables from Zaccaria, were demade into tables that existed in like the 60s and late 50s, late 60s or something like that. So you're going to get bare bones designs, but very creative in a way. Some of these tables can be very difficult to play. You could be losing your ball a lot in these tables. But to be fair, these tables are very cheap. You could buy the whole category for usually $1 or $2. Is it worth it? Sure, it's worth it to mess around with these every so often. I do have a separate video on all of the retro tables. I'll link to that description below. The video goes over them very quickly, and it'll give you a really good idea if you want to actually go in and buy these retro tables. And the last category I'm going to talk about here are the award tables. This is something I recently made a video on, so I'm not going to touch upon it too in depth here, but the award tables are actually tables that Magic Pixel had created for a separate game entirely on the iPhone. I think it was called Age of Pinballs, and they basically ported those tables over into Zaccaria Pinball, and these are tables that you don't have to buy if you don't want to still play them, because as you earn achievements in the game, you just automatically unlock these tables one at a time. Except for one table, Treasure, which you need to finish campaign mode to unlock currently. That may change in the future, but you could still go on the store and buy a bundle for the award tables. And usually it's not that expensive, but if you don't want to do that, you can still work to unlock them if you want. And again, I'll link to that video in the description below if you're interested more in these award tables. Now, that's all I wanted to go over with this video, is just the different categories of tables in Zaccaria Pinball. Now, there's still a couple more modes. There's the story mode, which is free for everybody to play, but you're actually better off playing that if you've unlocked more achievements, because you start off with more balls, and it's easier to finish story mode if you actually have a few more tables unlocked and a lot more achievements built up, because you earn more balls to start out with the more achievements you have in story mode. Campaign mode, which is something you have to buy separately. I enjoyed it. Some people found it frustrating. I have a separate video for story and campaign mode as well, so check that out if you're interested in those. There's also a zombie invasion mode, So that's kind of an oddball kind of mode. Again, I made a separate video for that one. Check that one out if you are interested in that. But that's really all I wanted to cover for this video. Thanks for watching. See y'all next time.